So today we had two games on the telly on Rugby World Cup. We had Georgia playing Uruguay, and then Australia taking on Wales. I have to be completely honest, I didn't really get to watch much of the Georgia-Uruguay game. I had things on in the morning I had to deal with, so I only got to watch some of the highlights. So all I can really do is just go through the score. I was expecting Uruguay to win, but because Uruguay are my team. But yeah, congratulations to Georgia getting a bonus point victory. If I look at the stats, they got their 4 tries, so they got their bonus point victory. Great for Georgia to get their campaign back on track. Almost 3 times the run meters by Georgia. If I look at the tackle completion, 88% tackle completion, 79 from Uruguay. So yeah, it's the big thing I see is 15 penalties from Uruguay, 1 red card. So I think the discipline on the Uruguayan side wasn't that great. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to talk much about this game. I really want to talk about the other game for the day, which was Wales getting a famous or great victory against Australia at the Rugby World Cup. I think this was a must-win game for both teams. We watched that game, my mother-in-law, my mother, dad, my wife, and wow, what a no! I thoroughly enjoyed that game. I thought that was the most entertaining game so far in the Rugby World Cup. I just thought it was on a knife edge most of the game. Hey Joe, welcome to the show. So yeah, I predicted that Wales would win by 4 points. So I'm vindicated. I think that's the only Super Brief score I've got right in probably the last 2 years. So I'm pretty happy about that. But boy, did Wales come out strong. Those counter-rucks at the start in those first 10 minutes was just sublime. Scoring a drop goal in 37 seconds, you just thought there was something special happening on the game today. But I'm looking at the stats here, and the stats tell a lot of things, because that purple patch that Australia had when they came out in the second half was just absolutely sublime. They really picked themselves up, because they were way off the pace. They were way off everything. I agree with you, Joe. I thought that was an absolutely wonderful game. It's just nice when you have two very equally matched sides that have a different kind of style to each other. But Wales were playing completely not the way that they normally play. Modern Block, welcome. Yeah, it's just, if I look at the territory stats and the possession stats, in the first half it was mostly Wales. They were ahead in the territory and the possession. But in the second half, I'm looking at 76 possession and 82% territory for Australia. They were really piling on the pressure. I don't think I think there was a losing bonus point. There must have been a losing bonus point for Australia. If I look at tackles, 183 tackles by Wales. 183. That is absolutely impressive. Only 83% tackle completion, so it's a pretty decent game for tackling. If I look at penalties, 8-7, it's pretty standard, pretty close to each other. Rucks won pretty much this 122. Mauls won. That's pretty. Turnovers conceded, 17 turnovers conceded by Australia. If you see me looking to the right, my camera works backwards, but I'm actually looking at my second screen just so I can actually see the stats for the games. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through a bit of the player stats, and I prefer to look at defending first. I think games are won with, except if you like the All Blacks, games are generally won on defence. That's my honest opinion. That's where I start. It's where I generally start looking. So if I look here Alan Wynne-Jones, 25 tackles for Alan Wynne-Jones in that game. Look, he missed 3, but still 25 tackles. That's pretty impressive for an old man like that. 130 caps today. I thought it was just a great game for him. I think it's is it Davies, the scrum half? Flippin' hell, intercept king of note. He got 2 great intercepts. One was a direct result for a try. I just thought that was absolutely amazing. But then I go looking at the Australian side. I don't think they had to tackle as much, especially in the second half. I think they. Why are you phoning me, Modenbach? Can't phone me like live. That's just that's just not on. So. Unless you got to just send me a WhatsApp if you've got something to say. Modern Bach phoning me live while I'm on YouTube. So yeah, I was looking at the like I said, Modern Bach, I can't take a call right now. So yeah, I was looking at the defensive stats, and I don't think Australia had to tackle as much as Wales had to do in the second half. But if I start looking at the attacking stats, Karevi, 98 meters, 16 runs. Good grief, man! What's going on here? I agree with you there, Joe. I really do. I do think it was a little bit strange. I didn't see anything really wrong with the tackle at all. I thought it was a little bit. Yeah, look, it's just leading with your. I know Ibn Etzebeth leads with his elbow. He leads with it quite often, and he has been blown up for it before. But I do agree with Hooper. It is a strange tackle technique to tackle so high. And if you're coming in with the elbow like that, you're hitting on the chest, it's going to go up. It's a tough one. At the end of the day, I look at it and I think the ruling from World Rugby is that we need to protect our players' heads. That's the ruling. And it's generally always on the person who's doing the tackle to protect the person's head, but we have to you're just there to protect the head. So looking at Karevi's stats, 98 meters, 16 runs, not that many passes, 1 offload. So it's some of the other ones, Korobetti as well, 10 runs for 81 meters. And it was just like loads and loads of running. Will Guinea 5, but mainly Hooper also 13 runs for 44. Naisarani, I didn't think Pocock had such a great game. I still think he's trying to get back into form. It just seemed, I just don't know. I think in the first half, I honestly feel that Australia are missing a really big blindside flanker. I agree with you. I can't really pronounce that name really well. Malky McIntyre. I do agree with you. The game management from Wales was incredible, and yes, it is true. 2 drop goals. It's so nice to see drop goals coming back into international rugby. Look, I obviously don't want to be like that. I can't remember the South African that did 4 or 5 drop goals in one game. It does become kind of like, look, it's just nice to cheapers, man. Loads of people trying to phone me. But I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I thought for me it was the best game so far at the World Cup. By far, like some of the games, I was really looking forward to New Zealand, South Africa, and that was I thought either the Japan-Ireland game was super entertaining, but this was really entertaining. This was two teams that were very equally matched. And like, I'm looking at the news and I can see a lot of the Australian pundits are really laying into Raymond the ref, and I'm a little bit disheartened by that, because I'm going to say something now about Checker. I was watching his interview afterwards, and I'm sorry, the guy. I know you've just lost, but there is a thing, losing gracefully or winning gracefully. There is that kind of thing, and I just don't think he has it. At the end of the day, he talks about Fiji bringing stuff out and citing players and stuff like that, but he airs all the dirty laundry out in the public. So I was just I was just getting a little bit frustrated with the way that he talks, because at the end of the day, if they'd scored a try at any other point, or they'd actually pitched up for the first 40 minutes, I think it would have been a completely different game. I just don't think. I think playing two open sides is not that good, especially against thinking about Wales going to bring in Moriarty late on in the game, and a real big ball carrier, a real stop player on the gain line. And I just think if Australia start investing in a real big blind side, I think they could really do it. All the teams have those really big loose forward carries. You can't always rely on your Isaac Rodders and stuff like that to give you a go forward. The locks have to work in the engine room. They have to work the line outs. So there's a lot riding on what the locks have to do, and you really need a decent blind side to take on especially a tier one team. There's a reason why you have a blind side and open side and eighth man, and it's balancing it out. And if you look at England play two open sides. They play Curry and they play Underhill. But they have the big B, big Billy Vanapola, who's like the seriously big ball carrier of note. South Africa, Peter Steph Toy, also have Dwayne Vermeulen. But, there's a reason why you have a big blind side. I look at New Zealand. I think New Zealand are going to go a bit of an open side route, but Ardie Savea is not really. Ardie Savea is just sublime. I just think it would have been a little bit different if they had pitched up in that first 40 minutes. I don't know what you guys think. If Australia had really played those first 40 minutes, it could have been a completely different game. Because at the end of the day, they essentially scored exactly the same. It was just the difference of the two drop goals. And Bernard Foley, I think he missed a few kicks, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just do not scoring, attacking, defending. That's the one thing about these stats things. It doesn't always tell you exactly what's going on. I wish it did. But yeah, I've just been seeing a lot of things about refs, about somebody needs to be made an example, and I don't know. I'm getting a little bit over it. I just think if you score tries, then regardless of what the ref says in a moment, is not going to affect the outcome of a game. That's how I feel. And I feel if Australia had pitched up in the first 40 minutes, they would have won that game. But they didn't. They only pitched up in halftime, and Wales hung on. They did hang on. Sometimes I like Premiership rugby. Reason because they have a sighting officer as part of the game. I'm not sure about Pro 14 and the other ones. I know in Super Rugby there is no sighting officer in the game. There's just the TMO. So it'd be nice to actually have someone like that, or have a central kind of TMO. So a TMO that has, like you said, a forwards, somebody who understands the scrum. Because if I was looking at that scrum, I thought the tight head and the loose head were not straight on both sides. So I just thought, you weren't ever going to have a competing scrum if both sides are like that. I don't know what you guys think about that. Sorry, guys are chatting and I'm actually missing everything that you're saying. Yeah. I just think a little bit more. We don't want. Look, there was a reason why a couple of years ago we just said the TMO is getting involved too much. Check. and then the refs could ask the question, try yes or no, and that was changed, and I'm glad that's changed. I'm glad it's got to, yes, it's a try, can you give me any compelling evidence? Why not? Jeez, Joe. Maybe somebody in the comments telling me to shh. You gotta love it. But yeah, I'd really like to know what you guys thought of the game. I thought it was the best game of the tournament so far. If I just look here, just bring up some of my graphics here. Obviously, we've got the Scotland-Samoa game tomorrow. But I honestly thought it was a well-deserved victory for Wales. I thought it was a game that could have gone either way, and I'm trying to think if Warren Gatland would say as much as Checker after a loss like that. If Wales had lost, I doubt it. I think he's super professional enough. I don't know. I'm not saying he's a bad coach or anything like that. It just frustrates me that there's channels that the coaches follow after a game, taking it up to I think Davies also. I thought it was an entertaining game, but yeah, guys, I'm going to keep it quite short and sweet. Yeah, yes, Roberto, he is super grumpy. It's just I just don't know. I honestly frustrates me when a moment gets blamed on the outcome of a game. It really does frustrate me, and it actually takes away from Wales actually performing on the day, holding out the Australian attack, which was sublime. Let's be honest, the Australian attack was sublime. Any other side would have wilted under that kind of constant pressure and constant attacking rugby. It was sublime. Australia are a team that know how to attack. We saw them when they played New Zealand, how well they can attack, and for them to hold out and actually have all the possession, all the territory in the second half, and actually clawed themselves way back into that game, and for Wales just to hang in there, I think you've actually got to give credit where credit's due. So yeah, that's the games for today. Was he? Jeepers, I remember he was at Leinster. I'm lucky I didn't see him there when he was at Leinster. I heard he was a little bit of a little bit strange. Actually, I wonder what Russie was like, because we only really got to watch Pro 14 after the cheaters and everything went across, and we didn't really get to see Russie in the Pro 14. It was that Pro 12 at that stage. So I wonder what he was like as a coach there. And but yeah, let me put the graphics up for tomorrow. I agree with you there, Dead Grubber. I really do agree with you. I just think Wales hung on there, and that's sometimes all you have to do is just hang on there. Maybe you don't have all the attacking plays, and maybe you don't have the ball. They just didn't have the ball, but they hung on. But yeah, let's look at tomorrow's game now quickly. There's only one game tomorrow. We've got Scotland versus Samoa. I think it's going to be. I've put Scotland to win that game. I think Samoa may smell blood in the water. I think they could get up for it. It is Samoa after all. They're not just they're not minnows. Oh, good grief, Joe. Joe was saying here in the comments that he threw a water bottle during an interview. Jeepers. Yeah, well, that's a big that's uncalled for. But yeah, we've got the game tomorrow, Scotland versus Samoa. It's a must-win game for Scotland. Scotland have to win this game with a bonus point if they have any if they have any idea of staying in this competition. Samoa would probably feel exactly the same. Need to win, because the Japan win against Ireland has really opened up that pool drastically. I still think Ireland's going to go through quite comfortably. But yeah, I think everyone's fighting now for either first spot. For Japan could go for first spot, or the second spot in that pool. And I think Samoa, Scotland, or Japan could get that second, or Japan get that first spot. So yeah, I think it's going to be an attritional game, because it's going to be hard. I know Scotland like to run. I just think they're carrying too many injuries, and I think they've got a really big injury with in their forwards. I'm getting way too old for this. I should take some memory tablets. I've got to remember to take them. It's just. I think somebody was saying the nicest thing about being in the French squad is that you never have a French ref. I don't know, Joe. I really don't know. I think when you've got the crowd behind you, you know what it's like. You know it's like a Leinster game at home. You know what it's. You got the crowd behind you. You've got people like that. Yeah. So that's the big game for tomorrow. Obviously, I will do a video tomorrow, and for that game, I will watch that game even though I've got work, and we'll chat about that game. But yeah, I thought this was a cracking weekend of rugby. I really did. I thought Saturday was great. I thought the games were entertaining. I thought the game today was super entertaining. Yeah, exactly. I watched that game, Joe, and I watched the first half, and it was like 31 points to 0 or something stupid like that. And I thought, I'm not going to carry on watching this, and I left. Yeah, I know. We all have to, Joe. We all have to make money somehow. I got to pay for the bills, and I got to pay for my house and stuff. So, I've always got to make the money to keep the bank manager happy. But yeah, guys. Cracking weekend of rugby. If you could put down your comments down below what you thought of the weekend, what games you liked. I thought that Australian-Wales game was sublime. Simon Karevi's still one of my favourite 12s. Even Patreon, I'm not going to make that much money, Joe. Let's be completely honest there. I still think Simon Karevi is probably the best 12 currently playing, and I thought Australia had a great comeback and they could have won that game, but it just wasn't written for them in the day. Listen, guys, I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful week. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your family, and I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday and enjoy the weekend, this week of rugby. I think we've got some great games next weekend. I think it's just getting more and more intense. One thing I have to say before I go, I was reading in the thing that now people are talking about who's South Africa going to play in the quarters, who's Ireland going to play, Hey, let's take a step back. Let's worry about tomorrow only. If we get ahead of ourselves, we'll just get into trouble again. Let's wait for the quarters and let's see what teams make it to the top and second, because a lot can change in the next week or two. Listen, guys, have an absolutely wonderful day, wonderful week. Chat soon. Cheers.